Hi, this is going to be a video on how to do multiple methods in an application, break things up. I wanted to show you that in GitHub I have it and it has a ton of comments. I mean, the first 38 lines are comments. So I would advise you to look at that. When I post the video, I'll also post the link to this. Alright, so I am going to move this over here and bring up Eclipse. I've already set it up. And what this class is going to do is it's going to calculate a grade point average. I am going to declare a variable on a class level. And that's going to be the scanner because I want, actually before I do that, let's import it. So import Java util scanner. Okay. And then at the class level, I am going to declare it as a variable. I am going to say static scanner scan. I'm going to initialize it equals new scanner system in capital S on system. Alright, so the reason why this is static is that we're going to have multiple methods, and if one method, and we have the public void main in there, if one method is static, they all have to be static. And what static means is that they are instantly loaded into memory and stay in memory as long as the program is running. That's not the best way to do things. It's necessary for the void main because it has to start the program. And if we're going to have public static void main in the class, we have to make everything static. Later when we do classes, I'll show you how not to do static methods. Other classes don't have to have static methods and they can be called in the main. Alright, I am going to do a initial method and it's going to be public. They don't all have to be public. Public means that they're available from other classes. Sometimes it's better not to have that. It has to be static, as I said, and it's void, which means it doesn't return a value. I need to give it a name, and I'm going to call it introduction. And it isn't going to take any parameters, and then I start a curly brace and end a curly brace, so it will be a block between curly braces. Actually, all I'm going to do here is print out system dot out dot println, and I'm not going to do the quite as elaborate as I have in the GitHub. I'm just going to say this program calculates grade point average. In the GitHub version, I also say that, which is a weighted average, and I also say that the valid grades are between 0 and 4. So I do more in that, but I'm just going to do a simple method here. Now, one of the things you can do as you go through here is you can test these. So in this static void main, I'm just going to call introduction. Alright, this is how you call the method. You give it its name, the parentheses, and any parameters that it needs, which we'll look at later. So I'm going to run this, and I'm going to do OK, and down below it says this program calculates the grade point average. So we've called the method from main. Now the second thing that I want is, and again it will be a public static, only this one is going to return an integer, and the name of it will be get number of grades. We want to know how many grades to enter. And again, it takes no parameters. It'll have curly brace set up the block. And I am going to say system out print line, or I have just print, doesn't matter. Enter the number of grades. You want to enter. It's a little awkward. Okay, let me get rid of the T. All right, and then I'm going to do number equals scan, because we declared that, right? Next int. And then this is how you return a value. Return, number here needs to be given a data type. Return number. Okay, so we can look at this again in main as we go through this. It's a good idea to test things as you go. So I'm going to do int num equals, and we're going to call get number of grades. They have to match exactly. Again, it doesn't take any parameters. So this is just for testing. I'm going to do a system out print, and let's do print line, I guess. And what we're going to print is a number. All right. Oh, num, actually. And this is, again, just to test it. So I'm going to run it. I'm going to do OK. It says there's an error. Oh, I see the error. Okay. Okay, how many grades do you want to enter? So let's say 3, and it will return the 3. The 3 that we enter here gets passed to this variable. This variable is returned. So when we call the method, it returns that number. So this 3 is equal to this. This is 3, this is 3. All right, so I'm going to comment out that because it worked. And now we're going to do the next method. And this method will be to populate a two-dimensional array that will keep track of grades and credits. So again, public static, because they all have to be static here. And I'm going to do a double array. Okay, so I'm going to return that. And I am going to call it enter grades and credits. And it's going to take one argument, which is the number. Okay. And then I do a curly braces. Oops. Okay. Press enter. It gives me the things. It's underlined because I haven't returned just anything yet. So I'm going to declare double grades, and it will be a two-dimensional array, and it will equal a new double, and we're going to give it, the size will be num, the number that's being passed in, and the second dimension will be 2. Alright, and then I'm going to populate this for int I equals 0. I is less than num I plus plus. Okay, so that's our loop. We're going to start at 0 and loop until as long as we are less than the number. And I'm going to give a prompt, system out print line, enter the grade. I think I will say 0 to 4. And then not a colon, but a semicolon. All right, we're going to say grades I, so whatever row we're in, we'll get by the counter. 0 is equal to scan next double. Okay. We're going to do another prompt and enter the credits. Okay. Should have just copied both lines. I1 equals scan next int. And then we're going to, outside of the loop, we are going to return grades. Okay. This is a little harder to test. But what I'm going to do down here is I'm going to put in the call. I'm going to put double and we need to give it a name here. It could be grades, but it isn't necessarily have to be the same as the up above. Equals enter grades and credits and this one takes an argument, and what it's going to take is num. We have to tell it what the num is. So this value goes to there, which goes to there. So we're getting the value from the method and we're passing it to the next method. All right. Now I'm going to get the total weight. The way you calculate a GPA is you multiply the grade times the credits to get a weight, and then you divide that by the total number of credits. So I'm going to do public static get total weight. Oh, I have to say what it's going to return a value, and it's going to return a double. And it's going to take two arguments. It's going to take the num, and it's going our int num, and double we can call it grades, but whatever it is. Okay, and then outside the parentheses, so it has two parameters. They're separated by a comma. Give the data type and the variable name, the data type and the variable name. Okay, so, and again, it's underlined because we haven't returned anything yet. So I am going to declare a variable, double weight, and I'm going to give it an initial value. You have to give it an initial value if you're going to use the operator that I'm going to use for int I equals 0. I is less than num, I plus plus. Wait. I'm going to make this weight sum just to match what's in the thing. So I'm going to do weight sum equals grades I 0. So the first value, the grade, times grades I 1. Okay, and then we want to, outside of the loop, return weight sum. Okay, so down here, well, it just says we've never used it. All right, so I am going to call that method. It returns a double. Double. I'm just going to call this one weight equals get total weight. And remember, we had to pass it two parameters. We have to pass it the num, which we have above, and we have to pass it grades. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do print system out print line and we'll try the weight. We'll see what we get. All right, so I am going to test it at this point, what we've got so far. All right, so enter the number of grades you want to enter. We're not going to do a lot, 3. All right, so I want to enter a grade between 0 and 4. Let's just do 3.5. Let's say the credits is 5. 0 to 4, let's say it's a 2.4, and the credits are 3. And then we'll say that the credits, that we got a 3.7, and the credits are 5 again. And 18.5 is the weight. We could check that if we want, but I believe that it will be accurate. So it's working so far. Okay. We're just calling all these things in main in order. The introduction, we get the number of grades, we create the array. Now we've got this, and now we need the total credits. And again, the idea is that each method does one thing, because you can only have one return per method. I'm going to do get total credits. And like the other one, is going to take int num, and it's going to take a double grades curly brace. All right, and I'm going to create a int grade sum, credit sum rather, equals 0. And I'm going to do a quick loop for int I equals 0, I is less than num, I plus plus, another curly brace for this, and I'm just going to say credit sum plus equal, so that adds it all, right? It adds it to each number as it goes, and it's going to be I did grades up there. I did credits in the other one. It doesn't matter. Grades I and 1. We only want the credits part. Okay, and then outside of the loop, we want to return credit sum. Okay, and again, we can test that. So we've got the weight. I'm going to do int credits equals get total credits, and then we've passed the same num and the same grades, and then we'll print it again just to see. System out print line, and this time we'll print credits. Alright, so let's see what we got. So let's just do 3 again. 4.0 for 1 credit, 3.2 for 5 credits, and a I don't know, a 3.0 for 4 credits. So we got 12 and we got 10. Got 10 credits, which is right. 7. Is it right? So we get 1, 6, 4. Yes, that is correct. We only have one more method to go, and that's to calculate the GPA. So I'm going to do public static, and it's going to return a double. Calculate GPA. It's going to take 2 arguments. It's going to take weight, double weight, then int credits. And basically we're going to say that double GPA, let's do lowercase, equals, I'm going to say 0 initially, and then I'm going to say GPA equals weight divided by credits return GPA. We could do this, these two we could do as one statement. We could just say double GPA equals weight divided by credits. So this is the last bit here. I'm going to say double GPA equals calculate GPA, and I'm going to pass it the weight, comma, credit, and then I'm going to do system out print line your GPA is plus GPA, not equals but plus. All right, so let's run that. Okay, so I'm going to do, let's do 4, and I'll do 4.0 3 credits, 3.5 2 credits, 3.6, 5 credits, and a 4.0 with 5 credits. Okay, that is wrong. Why is that wrong? What did I do wrong? Because that is definitely wrong. Alright, so it's 2015. That isn't right. Ah, plus equal. Weight sum is plus equal. We didn't actually see that. Alright, so let's run that again. Alright, and we will for 4.0, 5 credits, 3.4, 3 credits, 4.0, 1 credit, 2.5, 5 credits, and then that's correct. Now, if you don't like the look of that, you can always round it. I will let you think about that. There's two big things that this would need other than comments, which it does. And I didn't do these in the other one either. One is to validate that the grades are in the correct range. There are different ways to do that. And the other would be to format the look of this at the end. But I think that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully it helps.